There are 4 simple steps that you can take in order to find the right partner or the appropriate partner for yourself. Now, this may mean in a relationship, but it could also mean in a business relationship or career or anything like that to help you get along. And relationships are something that you go through with your life, and hopefully you find the right one for you. Now, this particular video was prompted by a couple of customers of mine that have asked me over and over again. Now, I won't use their real names, one of them being Jane and the other one being John, have prompted me to do this video simply because it worked for them. And over the hundreds of clients that I do get the question of, where can I find the right partner for me, whether it be in business or relationship, it comes up time and time again. So here we go. The 4 simple steps are what I'm going to take you through. Before I get into them, I'm actually going to tell you a little bit about Jane in her particular relationship, that she actually met her potential partner. This would have been about a year ago now, but met a potential partner. Went great guns, guys. It was going really well. Things were really heating up. The relationship was turning into, something that she wanted it to turn into. Then all of a sudden, overnight, the romance was gone. Things went from hot to literally ice cold. Now, on her mind, on Jane's mind, she was questioning, what did she do wrong? Straight away, we all think that, what did we do wrong? Now, it may not necessarily be you. It may not necessarily be the person. It can also be external factors that are into play. The hard thing about this particular scenario was that because they'd only just met and things were really going great guns and they're moving quite along, there was a big question mark and uncertainty, and with that comes a little bit of low self-esteem. It reflects a hell of a lot in your life. The second one, which I'll say is John, had been going out with his partner for 2 years, and things were going really great. They went off. Things were going really so well that it was unquestionable. It was forever. And eventually, what started to happen is what I call fine cracks in the relationship. They were starting to bicker a bit and starting to get on each other's nerves, which eventually turned into arguments. Now, unfortunately for John, it ended up that they were not getting along. John actually turned up, gave me a phone call and said, hey, we really need to see you, blah, blah, blah. And it eventuated from there. But before I get on to what actually happened with Jane and John, I want to get into the 4 steps. And the reason why I sort of introduced those 2 stories was simply so you can align it with the 4 steps that I always say will work in a relationship to find that potential partner of yours that is going to make both of you happy, not just yourself, but also them. So the first step is always, and I say this is actually the first step is a way of life, is to treat other people the same way you'd like to be treated. And the reason I say that, it's pretty much along the connotation of you reap what you sow, you get what you pay for, those sort of analogies, is to treat other people the same way you'd like to be treated, and that reflects back to you in your life. So if you don't like being yelled at, then obviously you won't want to be yelling at other people. And simply, you don't want to bring your anger to the household, or, and this all reflects to your workplace, to wherever you are in life. The way you like to be treated is the way you should be treating other people. And believe me, guys, it does come back to you. Good does come back. And a lot of people will argue that point for quite a while and say, oh, look, my life's in a turmoil. It doesn't. But look, slow, small steps. It eventually gets there, guys. Just like the bad news spreads, good stuff does come back to you. Now, that's number 1. That's obviously a way of life. Treat others the same way you want to be treated. The second one, and it's a pretty, easy sort of thing to understand, yet we tend to sort of get it wrong along the lines. And that is to always make sure that you're ready. Now, I can say that probably 99.9 clients of mine will say, yep, I'm ready straight away. Are you ready, guys? Yes, I'm ready straight away. And off the bat, they will say they're ready. But before you do answer, are you ready? Yes, you're ready. You've been lonely, or you're out of a relationship. You're sick of being, on your own and stuff like that. What you want to do is ask yourself at that particular point in time of your life, are you ready? Are there any other commitments that you have, such as, starting a new career, education, you're improving your education. There could be a sick family member that you've got to really look after, and time is really hard to split when you do have these major life commitments. And when I ask you, are you ready for a relationship? And before you answer it, just think, are there any commitments that could be jeopardizing a potential relationship? And why I say that is simply because with Jane, in the first example that I gave you, Jane actually, when they met with the partners, she wasn't really sure if she was ready, simply because she had just started a new career. And her partner was also the same. Yet Jane had put her career to the side where her partner hadn't. And what he was finding was that the relationship with Jane was getting in the way of his career, and he put the career first. Now, eventually they worked it out, and they're actually together now, still, I hope. But no, all things were going really great. We catch up once every 6 months just to make sure, how things getting along there with their careers. They're flying. But that is the second part of it. Make sure that you're ready. The third part is, and this is very important, guys, how many times have you ever said to yourself after the result, I knew what I was thinking was going to be right. It happened like that. What I was thinking turned out. Your intuition or your gut feeling had turned around and said, don't do it, or do it. And it was right. How many times, guys? And there's so many frustrated people that say, gee whiz, I should have listened to myself. Why didn't I listen to myself? I knew that what I was feeling was right. And it probably was. But you know what? I'll push it to the side and I'll go with, I'm just going to go for it. And what happens in a relationship, or potential at the beginnings of a relationship, you get together simply because you're attracted to the person, physical features, or at that particular moment in time, they're giving you what you need. But it may not be what you need as an individual for your whole life. It could be just for that moment. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that particular person is going to be right for you in the future. For today, and maybe for a short-term future, but not long-term. And if you can see that, well, hang on, this is a long-term, guys. I really want this relationship to last, or this partnership to last. Well, make sure you go with your gut instinct, because 99.9% of the time, as my clients have told me, their gut instinct was right. And I can honestly say that the majority go against it until we have a talk. And the fourth one, which is just as important as the first one, which is treat other people the same way you want to be treated. The second one, make sure you're ready. No other commitments, guys, that could jeopardize the embryo parts of the relationship. Number 3, your gut instinct, your intuition. And number 4, just as important, make sure the other person's ready. It's simple. If they're not ready and they haven't cross-referenced all the first 3, then it's not going to work. Relationships, as you know, are two-way streets. And there's no use having one way only, because eventually there's a give and take in any successful relationship. So I really hope this works out and, helps you with any potential partner that you think that could be for you. And going back to John, just before I end it, they actually separated and found that they were really good friends for each other. Best of friends, but not in a relationship sense. And the quite ironic thing was they actually went, both of them, to build a business. They started a business, and now they're very successful in their business. Once again, we catch up every 6 months, and throw the ideas around, and they're going really great. So the 4 steps did work for Jane and John. Unfortunately, or fortunately, their relationships, one was successful, the other, well, they found great friendships, which is just as important as a great relationship. So thanks for listening, and I hope this helped you out, guys.